Tonight, help has arrived.
They have their engineers and also the logistics people that are coming to help us out.
What's first on the agenda as members of the armed forces touch down in Pimicikamak, Cree Nation? Also tonight, watching and waiting.
We really don't know, what could have happened to them.
Tensions run high in Winnipeg's Iranian community as a deadly crackdown on protesters and communication blackout continue. Plus,
you're talking about a fundamental change to a school's operating environment.
How big of a hit Manitoba post-secondaries are taking to enrollment and their finances after the federal government capped admissions.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Military boots are now on the ground tonight in Pimicikamak, Cree Nation. Canadian Armed Forces members are fixing critical infrastructure in an effort to get that hard-hit community back on its feet following an extended power outage. CTV's Joseph Bernacki is standing by in studio with the latest on the work now underway. So, Joseph, what kind of assistance is the military providing?
Marilee, there are currently 7 members of the Canadian Armed Forces in Pimicikamak, about 540 kilometers north of Winnipeg. The team, consisting of construction engineers, plumbing, heating, and electrical generation systems experts, are there to assess the damage and provide assistance where needed. The Canadian Armed Forces tells CTV News the Joint Operational Support Group planned to be in Pimicikamak for 2 weeks. A short while ago, Chief Monius and Shirley Robinson, Executive Council member with Pimicikamak Cree Nation, said assessing the water treatment plant and getting it back online is the first priority for the military. Approximately 4,400 people from the First Nation are still out of their homes. Leadership says these past 2 weeks have taken an emotional and psychological toll on the community.
The Army, with their engineers and their logistics people, are going to be taking a look at they're doing a site tour on the water plant right now, take notes and identify what needs to be fixed and assess how it needs to be fixed and what resources are required to fix it.
Like, they really want to go home, and there's that feeling of displacement, that feeling of isolation, that feeling of that they can't be with their community.
The chief says dozens of workers are on the way to help the 8 plumbers currently stationed in Cross Lake. Some people are coming from as far as Calgary. The chief says a second technical assessment team from the military is expected to arrive later this week and may bring additional equipment based on that initial assessment.
What about the evacuees, Joseph? Do we have an update on the people now staying in Winnipeg and in Thompson?
Well, Marilee, Chief Monius is concerned about the roughly 1,300 to 1,500 evacuees in Thompson. Monius says the evacuees may be forced to leave their hotels as early as Wednesday to accommodate an upcoming hockey tournament. In a statement, the Canadian Red Cross tells CTV News, if needed, people will be relocated to other hotel accommodations in Thompson.
All right, thanks for this, Joseph. The Iranian government is cracking down on protesters after a 3rd straight week of demonstrations. Human rights groups are saying more than 500 people have been killed, and the regime is blocking internet and cell phone access. CTV's Harrison Shin spoke to Iranians living here in Winnipeg who are now worried about family back home.
You worried about your sister?
I'm very worried about my sister.
All of Najm Safour's family, parents and sister, live in Iran, a country in the middle of a massive civil uprising spread out over 180 cities. Safour believes her sister may have joined the protests that started about 2 weeks ago, with more than 550 confirmed deaths and 10,000 people detained.
That just makes me feel very concerned because I'm not sure if she's safe or how she is doing.
It has been 5 days since Iranian government cut the country off from rest of the world by blocking internet and international phone calls. And that means people like Safour and Ali Bayat are in the dark about their loved ones back home. Bayat moved to Winnipeg from Iran in 2022. He says all of his friends and parents still live in the country. Some still have access to the internet by using satellite dishes like Starlink, and that's how he heard from one of his friends. But the fate of his parents is still unknown.
We are unconsciously just waking up, checking our cell phones, checking whether they checked our messages, whether something popped up or not.
What do Iranians want from this protest?
A change of government, decency, dignity, whatever they're not having right now, rule of law.
They want the end of Islamic Republic, the end of the regime.
But at the end of the day, what both Bayat and Safor want most is to hear from their families.
This is literally killing and deteriorating us psychologically.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady joins us now with the first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. And boy, it's mild out there tonight.
Temperatures are already rising over last hour. We were at -2 an hour ago. It's -1 in Winnipeg now. But it's a mixed bag because there's precipitation courtesy of an incoming low pressure system. We have snow, we have rain, and we have freezing rain. In the past hour or so, we've had freezing rain reporting in the Winnipeg area. I'll have more details on that and the temperature roller coaster we will be embarking on for the week ahead. The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution in Winnipeg right now. It is -2 degrees. The camera blowing around, but the winds aren't that strong out of the south-southwest at 19 kilometers an hour. The wind chill feels like -7. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 85%.
Thanks, Colleen. The province of Manitoba is raising concerns about college and university enrollment numbers. It says the schools are taking a financial hit, and as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, the province is putting the blame squarely on the federal government.
Temeluluwa Oyewole is in her 3rd year of studies at the University of Manitoba.
I'm basically the first in my family to ever do such, ever. So it just means a whole lot to me and my family. So yeah.
The international student from Nigeria says this is a big opportunity for her.
I feel like the education here is really good. The professors are really supportive. The community is super great.
But there may be fewer students like her in Manitoba right now. In 2024, the federal government capped the number of international students. The program had been under mounting scrutiny and surging student numbers, housing pressures, and growing asylum claims. But the province of Manitoba is calling out Ottawa for the decision, saying it's impacting enrollment.
It is causing a lot of headaches for colleges and universities here in Manitoba.
The province says Manitoba's international student allocations declined from 18,591 in 2025 to 11,196 in 2026, a reduction of 40%, and that's putting the schools in a financial bind.
You can't make that up with a taxpayer subsidy. You're talking about a fundamental change to a school's operating environment.
The University of Manitoba says they've seen international student numbers drop by 19% and 30% in consecutive years. The cap on international study permits has indeed had a measurable impact at the University of Manitoba. The University of Winnipeg says they're experiencing a 40% reduction of new international students.
I am not privy to tell you specifically what that's going to translate in terms of the revenue loss, but it's significant. We're talking millions of dollars.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Brandon University says its international student numbers fell from 447 last year to 354 this year. Red River College says it's seen a 25% drop from 2024 to 2025. CTV News also reached out to the federal government for comment, but they were not able to respond by airtime. A 40-year-old man is facing charges tonight following the random attack of 3 women in the Winnipeg Skywalk system. Around 6:30 last Thursday morning, Winnipeg police say a woman was walking in the Millennium Library Skywalk when a man grabbed her and tried to remove her backpack. A second woman was then confronted in the Graham Avenue Skywalk and pushed against a railing. Then a short time later, a man threatened to stab a third woman and slapped a coffee cup out of her hand. He then threw the cup at her and pushed her. The suspect was located by police in the Skywalk near St. Mary Avenue around 7:30 a.m. He's charged with robbery, 2 counts of assault, assault with a weapon, and uttering threats to cause death or bodily harm. Manitoba's health card is going digital.
We're moving from paper to plastic, and now we're moving from plastic to pixels.
A digital health card is now available to apply for and access on mobile devices through a Manitoba Wallet app. It allows offline access to stored digital credentials and is the latest step in the province's modernization of the card, which moved from paper to plastic over the past year. Manitobans have the option to request a plastic or digital card or both when signing up. The health minister says it will make things easier in case of emergencies and for families.
For parents, this step today means one less thing that you got to keep track of in your lives. Instead of juggling multiple cards for your kids, you can have them all in one place, right on your phone.
For those already registered, the digital card is available immediately. The province hopes to expand the Manitoba Wallet, which allows offline access to stored digital credentials. The province says you'll be able to choose what data you want to share. Still to come tonight, a Manitoba political candidate has his PC membership suspended. Why Patrick Allard won't be running under the PC banner and his response. Plus, the Grand Slam of curling in Steinbach wraps up and makes its way into the organization's record books. Those stories when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil added 38 cents. The loonie closed above 72 cents U.S. Gold futures jumped $113. The TSX gained 261 points. The Dow Jones and NASDAQ added 86 and 62 points, respectively. The Manitoba Progressive Conservatives have suspended a board member over a recent social media post. The party says Patrick Allard's party membership and board position, where he served as regional director, are suspended and will be assessed. Allard recently posted a social media message asking whether ICE, the U.S. Immigration Enforcement Agency, is in Manitoba. His post asked whether ICE is hiring and said he was asking for a friend. Tory leader Abi Khan says it was offensive and inappropriate, and Allard will not be its candidate in the next election. Allard says he was surprised by the decision to suspend him, as the post was largely consistent with his other online activity, and says he was only trying to start a conversation.
I like to have that conversation with people. And some people think ICE, this police officer murdered her. I feel it was done in self-defense. I support law enforcement. I support strong borders.
Allard was referencing the recent ICE shooting of Renee Nickel-Good in Minneapolis. He added he still intends to run in the next provincial election in the St. John's constituency, which is currently held by NDP MLA Nahani Fontaine. A Japanese lifewear retailer is set to open a pair of stores in Winnipeg.
We're super excited to be able to announce that Uniqlo is coming to CF Polo Park.
Uniqlo announced today it will open its first location at CF Polo Park this spring. It will be on the second level by the food court. A second location will follow at St. Vital Centre. Uniqlo is just one of several new businesses opening or set to open at the mall.
You know, I think retail is always one of those challenging industries where there's an ebb and flow. So right now there's a lot of great tenants that want to come to Manitoba and come to Winnipeg to see what we can offer and how they can provide that.
Among the new businesses coming to Polo Park is Estella's Cafe and Abercrombie & Fitch. While Polo Park isn't saying anything about the iconic American retailer at this time, the city has issued a development permit to the brand for the relocation of an exterior door on the main floor of the mall. The Grand Slam of curling's Crown Royal Players Championship wrapped up Sunday in Steinbach, and it's safe to say it was a smashing success both on and off the ice. It was a nearly storybook ending for Gimli's Carrie Anerson, but she dropped a hard-fought game to Switzerland in the women's final. Meantime, it was an all-Scottish final on the men's side, with Ross White's rink pulling off a 6-3 victory. The six-day tournament was the first major competition held at Steinbach's new Southeast Event Center. A tournament spokesperson tells us final attendance numbers haven't yet been tallied, but confirms it was the second most attended Grand Slam of curling event ever. Still ahead, researchers at McGill University believe they found a way to improve the success rate of IVF. We'll explain how it works when we return.
Well, tonight temperatures will be rising. Tomorrow during the day they'll be falling, and that's just even before we get to the long-range forecast. I mentioned that temperature roller coaster. Take a look at this. -14 on Wednesday, but sunny. And then up to 2 degrees on Thursday, but it likely comes with snow or rain. And then back down to just -11 for a high on Friday. That is still above normal. And then a cooler but brighter weekend. Saturday and Sunday, both days a mix of sun and cloud with a forecast high of -17.
Research from McGill University could raise the success rate of IVF. The success rate for IVF is 30%, due in part to a complicated schedule of daily injections. Researchers at McGill are developing a light-activated microneedle patch. It can be programmed to dispense medication at set times. This means no more need for injections. The technology can also be used for conditions such as diabetes or multiple sclerosis. Medical experts say strength training can help keep bones and muscles healthy after menopause. Estrogen loss speeds up a reduction in bone density and contributes to the gradual loss of muscle mass. Strength training involves working against resistance and can help women maintain a healthy weight while staying on track with New Year's fitness resolutions. You can use free weights, but strength training can also involve exercises like push-ups, squats, lunges, sit-ups, crunches, or planks.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, Colleen, tonight is a great night to do some resistance training outdoors.
Absolutely. Temperatures on the rise already. It's -1 right now in Winnipeg. Very mild conditions all across the south, temperature-wise. As for the sky conditions, well, that's a mixed bag. A low that was developing over northern Alberta sent all kinds of precipitation out in front of it to the east through Saskatchewan and into Manitoba earlier today, and you can see it's coming down now on the radar, both in the form of some light snow, also some rain. But you see where that pink is showing up on your screen? That tells you there's freezing rain, and you can see it's right around the Winnipeg area. So watch out over the next few hours. It could get a little slippery out there yet, not just in Winnipeg, but right around much of the province. Into northwestern Ontario, too. Cloudy now, but snow is heading your way, and also potentially ice pellets yet tonight. So meanwhile, I mentioned that low that developed over Alberta. A lot of that snow landed in Manitoba. Not a lot in terms of accumulation. It looks like Island Lake will probably pick up the most, with 5 to 10 centimeters possible by tomorrow. But in the meantime, you can see along that southern flank, there's that freezing rain. But as we move throughout the evening hours, you saw there, it comes right down into southeastern Manitoba. Over the border, it goes overnight. But there is still the possibility of some freezing drizzle back in Manitoba. So if you have any overnight driving to do in the south, it could get slippery still. Meanwhile, further north through central and northern regions, that snow comes down overnight, as well as a little bit of freezing rain. There's the temperatures rise up above freezing, but they will fall throughout the afternoon. So we may well see some rain shower activity in the morning. It's possible in some places, but that will likely turn to flurries in the south as we go throughout the afternoon. Meanwhile, the north clears out. We'll catch up in the south as well, setting us up for a sunny but much colder day on Wednesday across Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. But you see like a curtain being pulled. Those clouds start to build back up over the Saskatchewan border back into Manitoba. For tonight, you see the asterisk that tells you temperatures are rising instead of falling tonight, up to +2 by morning, with that chance of rain showers or snow showers, maybe freezing rain also. Winds picking up overnight out of the northwest at 30, gusting to 50. They will stay strong and gusty from the northwest all day long tomorrow. 2 is where we should be sitting during the commute again, with the chance of rain showers, maybe even freezing drizzle. As the temperature starts to fall further and further below freezing in the afternoon, the chance of flurries takes over. Up in the north tonight in Churchill, cloudy there, -28, light snow for Gillam, Island Lake, and Thompson down to -19. The temperature falls to -23 there tomorrow afternoon. Light snow tonight across the northwest. Mild overnight lows, look at that, -7, -8 for Flin Flon in the Paw. And then tomorrow, Lynn Lake, the temperature drops to -22 in the afternoon. You could see some rain tonight or freezing rain in southwestern Manitoba. Temperatures hovering just above or below freezing. And then tomorrow, temperatures up to 1 in Brandon, but falling to -8 in Dauphin and the surrounding areas. Winnipeg in the southeast, temperatures rising overnight, and then tomorrow again, temperatures falling in the afternoon with that precipitation possible. And in northwestern Ontario, snow or ice pellets tonight, more precipitation tomorrow. Kenora, those temperatures tumble to -8. Our first weather photo is from Whitney. She said after some freezing rain there was some sun shining through. A lovely photo. And this one also is from Irv. This is the sunset yesterday evening over Grand Marais. Send us your photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
You can't get much closer than this. How you can join the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra on stage for an upcoming series. Spotlight is next.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Jade Eagleson.
A popular performance series will give ticket holders an intimate look at the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. From the Inside Out returns with 3 shows at Centennial Concert Hall from Tuesday through Thursday this week. The immersive experience sits concert goers right amongst the musicians on stage, providing a unique view of what's involved in each performance. The program features bite-sized excerpts from Richard Wagner's Ring Cycle, including The Ride of the Valkyries, and Handel's music for the Royal Fireworks.
In a regular symphony experience, you hear the instruments from afar, both visually and also audibly, and so you hear everything quite blended. But in this situation, what you're going to be hearing is the details and actually seeing what it takes to play these instruments at the incredibly high level that our musicians play them.
Tickets are available through the WSO's box office and are expected to sell out. Well, it was one win after another for one of the most acclaimed films of the year at the Golden Globes.
Thank you very much for this affectionate award. Appreciate it. Thank you.
One battle after another won 4 awards last night, including Best Musical and Comedy. Best Drama went to Hamnet. Tiana Taylor won for Best Supporting Actress, while Paul Thomas Anderson took home Directing and Screenplay prizes. But it wasn't a clean sweep. Timothée Chalamet beat out Leonardo DiCaprio to win Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy for his performance in Marty Supreme. Your primetime lineup starts at 6:30 with the NFL Thursday Night Football pregame. Then at 7, the Houston Texans travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. And Children Ruin Everything follows at 9:15. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. As Colleen just mentioned, the rest of our broadcast is preempted for NFL football. You can join us, though, at 11:30 for more local news, or you can head to our website.